Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Ever catch yourself like just scrolling, and you don't even know what you're looking at anymore?
Oh, absolutely. It happens to me all the time.
It's like our brains kind of check out, you know?
Hmm.
But what if I told you all that scrolling might be tuning our ears to a certain way the internet, well, kind of sounds?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Never thought of it like that.
We're diving into whether the internet has an accent, an American accent, no less.
Fascinating. And, it's not as straightforward as picturing the internet wearing a cowboy hat.
Definitely not. It's way deeper than that. We're talking about American culture and how it's kind of seeped into the online world without us even realizing it.
Right. Like, even before we had the internet as we know it, American culture was already making a splash globally. Think about those old Hollywood films.
The black and white ones.
Yeah, exactly. Even if they weren't set in America, they often showed things through an American lens.
It's true. They had a certain style, those movies.
And it wasn't just entertainment. It was a window into American culture that people all over found, well, fascinating. And then you've got American music, jazz, rock and roll blowing up all over the world.
So by the time the internet came around, a big chunk of the world already had a taste of American culture, like a foundation was already there.
For sure. And that sets the scene for how the internet itself would be seen, how it would grow.
And then you've got these huge tech companies, the ones we all use every day, Google, Facebook, Amazon. These aren't just American in location, are they?
You're spot on. They're often born out of Silicon Valley. And they carry a certain, maybe unconscious set of values, a way of thinking that kind of gets woven into the very fabric of the internet.
And this is where algorithms come in, right?
Exactly.
But hold on, break it down for me. Explain algorithms like I'm back in school and never quite got it.
Okay. Imagine algorithms like, digital voting booths, right? Every click you make, every video you watch, even just hovering over an image, you're casting a vote.
I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Those votes, they tell the algorithm what you like. And just like any voting system, well, they can be influenced. Because at the end of the day, they're designed by people. And often those people work for these big tech companies. So their decisions, what gets prioritized, can reflect their background, their values.
So even though I feel like I'm choosing what I see online, it's actually being subtly steered by these algorithms, which might have a bit of an American slant. That's kind of wild when you think about it.
It is something to consider, isn't it? Think of it like a friend giving you recommendations. But their suggestions, they tend to lean towards their taste, don't they? Right? Just like your friend might accidentally get you hooked on their favorite band, these algorithms, they're built with a certain worldview, right? And that can subtly shape what we see online, the perspectives we run into, even the choices we make.
Wow. It's making me rethink all those times I've gone down those internet rabbit holes. Like, maybe it wasn't so random after all. Maybe an algorithm was sort of nudging me along.
It's definitely possible. Say you click on an article about an election in another country.
Okay, I'm following.
The algorithm, it wants to keep you engaged, right? So it might recommend similar content, but what it considers similar, well, that could be influenced by how elections are covered here, in an American context.
So it might focus on certain issues or use language that reflects an American understanding of politics, even if that's not how things are seen in that other country.
Exactly. It's not just about what we see, it's about how we're seeing it. It's like we're looking at the world through a specific filter. It reminds me of this study I saw. It was about how algorithms used in online advertising, well, they can actually reinforce gender stereotypes.
Oh, right, because they're working with all this data, and that data might reflect past biases.
Exactly. So let's say an algorithm analyzes data from old ad campaigns, and it learns that tech products have mostly been targeted towards men.
And then it might just keep showing those ads to men, even if women are just as interested.
Precisely. And that's just one example, right? It shows how these algorithms, even though they seem neutral, can actually make existing biases worse.
And that's scary because it limits opportunities. It's one thing if an algorithm is steering me towards a certain brand of sneakers, but what about its impact on something bigger, like how we understand the world, other cultures?
That's a really important point. If all the information we get about other countries, other cultures, is filtered through this American lens, it can give us a really distorted view, right?
It's like only ever seeing a foreign country through those glossy travel brochures. You might see the main attractions, but you miss out on the real heart of the place, the everyday lives of the people.
You said it. It stops us from really engaging with other cultures on their own terms. We miss out on their, unique perspectives, their experiences.
And if we're not careful, that can create this cycle where certain voices get amplified and others get silenced.
Absolutely. And that's why this conversation, this whole deep dive into the internet's American accent, it's so important. We need to be aware of this. Think critically about the information we see online. Ultimately, it's about taking steps to shape a digital world that's more inclusive, where everyone's voice can be heard.
So it feels like we're kind of stuck in this web of algorithms. How do we break free? It's like we're on autopilot sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's easy to get swept up in it all. But the good news is, it's not all doom and gloom. Remember we were talking about those goats we cast with every click?
Right? Right.
Well, that means we've got power. Every search, every link, even how long we watch a video, it's all feedback. We can actually use it to kind of reshape what we see online.
So how do we make our clicks count? How do we break out of these filter bubbles? It seems like a tall order.
It starts with being a little bit more aware. Think about it like our diets, right?
You're saying we need to diversify our information intake, like branch out a bit.
Exactly. Just like we try to eat different kinds of foods, we should be doing the same with the information we're taking in online. Read something that challenges your usual views. Instead of just your regular news sites, try checking out publications from other countries.
Interesting. I never thought of it that way.
It's all about getting a wider perspective, right?
Yeah.
Look for blogs and websites from people with different backgrounds, different life experiences. The more you mix it up, the more well-rounded your understanding of the world becomes. Plus, you're sending the algorithm a message. Hey, show me something new.
So the algorithm actually starts to adapt to my choices.
Precisely. If you're always clicking on the same type of content, well, it's going to assume that's all you want. But branch out a bit. Show it you're interested in different things.
It's like we need to be explorers in the digital world.
I like that. And it's not just what we're reading or watching, it's what we're sharing too. That article that really got you thinking, that video with a fresh perspective. Share it. Spread the word.
Right. We can amplify voices that don't always get heard.
Exactly. By promoting diversity, we all help create a digital world that's more inclusive, where everyone feels like they belong.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. It really makes you think the internet isn't this neutral space, is it? It's been shaped, even in subtle ways, by American culture. But the good news is we have the power to change that.
Absolutely. The internet's constantly changing, evolving. It's a reflection of all of us, of the choices we make online.
So it's really a call to action for everyone listening. Next time you're online, don't be afraid to explore, be curious, click on something new, challenge your own assumptions. Because when we make the internet a more interesting, more inclusive space, we all benefit.
Well said.
Woo.
Until next time, keep those minds open and those clicks adventurous.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.